Let us pray. Almighty God, we ask for thy presence at this meeting this evening, as well upon each person here, our elected leaders, the town personnel and citizenry as they prepare to conduct matters of business for the community of Kennett. Loving and caring God, impart your wisdom upon all matters considered, discussed, and voted upon, so that their affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thanks for being our source of guidance this evening and always. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In the package, you have the minutes from our meeting on the 6th.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion, second. Information, any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This time we have a resolution here for Shane Cole. Shane's not here tonight, but I'd like to read this. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Kennett, Missouri as follows. Whereas Wallace Shane Cole has rendered effective and faithful service to the City of Kennett, Missouri as an employee in the street department for 43 years. And whereas Wallace Shane Cole has always performed his duties incumbent from that position and has always exemplified the highest ideals of public service on behalf of our city. It is altogether fitting and proper that recognition be given by our community for his dedicated service. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and the City Council, City of Kennett, Missouri, Wallace Shane Cole is hereby commended for his exemplary service to the people of Kennett, Missouri. Passed and approved this 20th day of June 2017. Mr. Carter, would you accept the claim, please? Thank you.
Thank you. He will appreciate this very much. Shane's not feeling real well. Part of the reason he's retiring, he's been off Friday and yesterday and today on sick leave. But he is honored to have worked for the city for this long. And as far as we know, this is probably the longest serving employee for the city ever.
There's a motion and a second to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Motion, second.
Second.
All in favor of approving the resolution? Committee reports. Committee? Police committee? Street committee?
Nothing at this time.
Finance committee?
We finally have something.
Same for the
After
budget.
6 weeks, we finally got the proposed budget for next year. You've got in front of you the operating revenue and budget requests. I'm going to make a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion we accept the budget as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion second.
Well, we have a note, we can vote on that, then we have to pass an ordinance approving the budget, so we can vote on the motion, and then we,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Go to the ordinance.
let's go through the ordinance. Yeah, the first reading is an ordinance approving the budget for the city of Kennett for the fiscal year 2017, 2018.
Motion.
Second.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Second reading, an ordinance approving the budget for the city of Kennett for the fiscal year 2017, 2018.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Aye.
I think even our clerks voted yes. Good job getting that pulled together. Chamber's not here tonight. Human Resource. He's absent also. Okay. Get into department reports, Street Department.
primarily to talk about the work that's going on. We got the plans here, if anybody wants to see Washington and Kennett Street, proposed work that's still going on. On Washington, the contractor will be working in 22 different locations, making repairs. The city will be involved in 15 additional ones. Some of those are add-ons where we're gonna contract separately with them, because it's not part of the grant, to go back another 6, 10, 12 feet to make a good smooth intersection. So we'll be paying for some of that out of the transportation sales tax. But also the street department will be doing some work. We did some saw cutting today for those areas that we will be paying for and things like that. So there'll be a total of 37 different locations that the city's involved with the contractor for work and pay and everything else. In leading up to the taking the asphalt off the milling, we thought that there'd be a lot more work on Kennett Street than there would be on Washington. When we got the asphalt off, we found that Washington was in a lot worse shape than we anticipated. When we got the stuff off, asphalt off of Kennett Street, we found out it was in a lot better shape than we anticipated. So it was done a flip-flop. Thanks to our museum coordinator, curator, Ms. Brown, she has come up with an exact date from the photograph when Washington and College were being poured the same year, and that was exactly 100 years ago.
Wow.
So I guess, you know, it's got some bearing that, you know, it might need some repair at this point in time. But then on Kennett Street, the contractor will be working in 11 locations, and we'll be working in 4 additional ones on those. So we have quite a bit of work still ahead of both of us. Things were progressing reasonably well until about 3 o'clock this afternoon. The contractor had not called on the 01 call and got into a water line that had just been repaired by City Light Gas and Water, and they're still over there working on it now. He also got into a phone line, so his operation's been shut down until Monday. So we're going to need to beg additional patience from you all as well as the citizens on at least the east end of Washington, because there's been some digging done, some intersections are broken up pretty bad in this type of stuff, but we're shut down until the 01 call system goes through for 3 days and so on. So, it's not what we wanted, it's not what we liked, but it was just a major mistake on their part. A positive note, traffic has been somewhat better. We could still use some more presence from law enforcement, but overall we feel like traffic's been a whole lot better on both streets. Thank Chief Malott for the use of their John Deere Gator. It saved me many, many times in and out of the truck and lots of steps up and down those streets the end of last week and this week. Last thing I would do would be ask you again that you should look at the council report and the compost numbers again, and then at the equipment report on the back of it. And a thank you again from Shane Cole for your support from the council here, but for the years, the mayors, the clerks, and the citizens for his service here in the street department. Thank you.
Mr. Carter, are they starting from East Washington and going up that way?
No, it'll be from College West.
Okay, but College going west?
Yes.
That's where it'll start?
Yes.
So does he have any more Missouri Run places he needs to?
All both Washington and Kennett will call in this morning.
Okay, good.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
You and I had a discussion here a while back regarding the lane painting on First Street. And I see MoDOT took care of Independence, so they were working, but they didn't do anything on First Street. That's something you can revisit.
I will call them again. I requested that just for them to see if they could add that to the contract for 25 highways, the work they did there. And I sent it by email and I sent it by voicemail. Never heard a response from them, but I will follow up on that.
Appreciate that. That's a dangerous situation out there. Can't find where the lanes are supposed to be.
especially on bright sunny days.
From dark nights, too. Fire department?
Today they completed the siren, outdoor early warning siren install on 921 Independence. That we purchased out of last year's capital improvements. The ideal there was to reach the far east side of Kennett back in. We wanted to get it closer down towards Bradley Street, but there just wasn't no open area where you could do it. There at Independence, it's easily accessible when the company comes in from out of Kennett to be able to set their truck up and service it. So as of today, it is in service, and that was one of our things we did accomplish through emergency management last year, and hopefully it'll open up that area out there if we have to set those signs off. In your packet, you have a report for May on the fire department's runs in the city. There's also, I believe, you should have one that shows the active building permits ongoing in the city. About a page and a half of that. And then from July of last year through June of this year so far, you have a property maintenance report. And this should, it's rather lengthy, but it'll alphabetical order. The dates there, the disposition, it will show you those who've been cited and for what they were cited for, and if it was took care of in a timely manner, or if an abatement was ordered or whatever. So as you can see, there was a total of 357 trash. There was 462 letters. Of that, 38 went to court, and out of the court, Judge Michael Meyer ordered 34 of them to be abatement. That generally is the grass that needs to be cut, and either the owner can't afford it, can't find the owner, they're out of town or whatever. So that's passed on to mow crew to be able to take care of that as well. So with that, if you have any questions about those three reports, we did get the animal control van marked with the city logo and the small pickup truck that Sea Light Gas and Water gave us to replace the vehicle that went kaput in the property maintenance. So those are some things there that I will say, it's kind of on pins and needles this weekend. We got our one truck is off just doing some general maintenance items that need to be done with it. One main engine, and like always, the second main engine had not an engine problem, but for the coolant canister for the engine coolant, the bracket broke on it, so it put us down to using. We just have to be thankful we got this new ladder truck and we use it as a reserve engine, but also we had to rely on our older 92 engine as our first line engines. It gets serious when we get like that, but we're able to still function. If we get anything big, we would have to call from mutual aid from the surrounding communities for that pass along. The one engine one is it's now in its 16th year, and I know budget's tight and all that. We'll be working on it. Grants as usual, but doesn't look too promising. It's something in the future on probably a capital outlays on capital improvements we need to consider whether we lease purchase to not pay out big lump or what we would have to do. So I present that to you just as down the road. Glad that you all were able to approve the budget. I know there's a lot of work, a lot of hair pulling on some department heads, and we finally got it whittled down to, I guess, if you was calling it a walking stick, it'll get you down the trail. So thank you for that, and we'll be entertaining the upcoming year.
The disposition of the two engines, when will you have them back in service?
The one's in service today. What happens, when you start getting,
We're not down two yet,
no,
two engines.
no. The one's still at the service center. They're doing some service work that periodically, it's an 06, so, you know, after about 7 years, there's a few things that need to be fine-tuned or tweaked on it. The other one, it was just getting the parts. And part of that problem is when you get older trucks and need a part, you gotta order it, and it had to come from Indianapolis, and they discovered it on Friday, so we didn't get it till Monday morning. And that becomes a problem, so. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but to let you know that, hey, you know, it can get kind of spooky. I mean, we've got a couple of older engines, and we do have new Slade that will respond, but, you know, just to keep it priced, it was, and thanks to the citizens, we really didn't have anything this weekend other than some medical calls, so we got through it, not any problems at
So
all.
when will the second engine be back in service?
We're hoping this next week,
This current week or
the next week after.
a week from now?
The problem is where we are in Kennett, there's no dealerships for fire apparatus. They either come to you, and it's gonna take a while to fix something, you're paying for the motel and the travel back and forth, whatever, or you elect to take it out of service and they schedule it into the shop to get it as quick as they can.
Thank you.
Any questions? We are getting some service workers. With the heat, you have kind of catered out on us, but it's looking pretty good. I've been around today, the trash isn't near where it used to be up against the airport fence. That's usually the first place we hit, because as the wind blows south, people that don't choose to use a trash container over on the parking lots, it catches on the fence. But we've, you know, there's still some to be picked up. We've used some of them when you get multiple in trying to clean up some of the fire vehicles, putting a coat of wax on them after they've been out in the elements and stuff like that. So it's working out pretty good. All right.
Good.
Thank you.
Police department.
Again, taking on what Randy and John acknowledged about the budget, I want to thank the mayor and the council for their dedication. I noticed this year, it seemed like there was more seriousness to it, a lot more hard work went into it, and finally, I think, through the finance committee, I appreciate the hard work they put into it, and we're going to be fine, the city will be fine. We started rolling out our street crime unit this week, high activities. There'll be stationed in the park throughout the city, also a bike patroller getting that geared back up. We've got several good traffic stops, days and nights, that we've covered drugs and high caliber weapons, and that's all I can really say on that. But anyway, the guys are doing a great job, and girls, and hopefully some of these cases we can turn into federal cases. Thursday, we had the honor to the leadership class from the chamber sponsors of 2017 community leaders. We were able to, they spent the day with us. I think they went to the sheriff's department early in the morning, but we had them for just about the rest of the morning and also the afternoon. It's a very good class. We give instruction on the firearm simulator. They went through their self and went through the simulator, and their attitudes when they went into that, and then when they actually got into the simulator and come out 360 degrees different. They don't realize, and they didn't realize, how short a time we've got to make decisions. Our officers are trained in the way the world is today, good or bad. How we react has a lot to do with what we do in our job and what we have to deal with in the after effects and the liability in the courts. But anyway, they come out with great admiration for what we do. They change their attitude. We also had demonstrations with the K9, with our pepper gun, and our tasers and all of that. And they really enjoyed it and they had a good time. And Melanie, she'll probably be here. Melissa, next council meeting, she'll probably get into it a little different. And further with that, we got a letter in from Murmur, all our officers had to qualify and had to shoot with that. And they were very pleased with all of our officers, and he was very pleased with the department. Anybody have any questions? Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Jim, would you like to tell us about the mosquitoes?
Well, y'all got a little report there.
The big
I'm
report.
not gonna talk about the report, y'all can look at that, if you got some questions, that's fine. I was mainly to let you know what's taking place. Our counts kind of started coming up this last week, so, we've already been doing surveillance since like May 9th or whatever. We've already been larviciding areas. The counts, like I say, are going up. We've done some spot spraying, some routes. We're gonna have to pick up the pace now, the counts are coming up. Also, I'll have the airplane in here probably the 1st of July. I have to play trade bout on that because I got it right there at the 4th last year, so somebody else gets it a little bit closer to the 4th than I do. So I'll have it around the 1st, we'll keep an eye on things, whatever we need to make up for the difference with the trucks and et cetera, we'll report to it, try to make sure everybody's got a happy 4th. Is there any questions about anything? That's so easy.
If you all hear of anybody complaining,
Yes.
please call us and we get in touch with them and they will make a
Any
special
concerns,
spray.
we can't do anything about it if we don't know these concerns or something, or learn about them, and we'll document these things. We already have quite a bit of documentation of things that we keep check on. So each time, you know, the more information we get, we do a home-side inspection, we go out for a request or something, see if there's a problem near, eliminate the problem, or at least treat it, you know, on a regular basis, whatever it might be. Of course, spray for them while we're there, and so on. So in the request, you know, they usually come in pretty good here toward the 4th. So if somebody's, you know, got family coming in for that matter or something for the holiday, and they need a little extra spraying around in their backyard, they need to call the office, for sure.
Have they already checked about the park for the, I think is it on the 3rd where they're gonna have the band? No, it's the 29th.
This month?
Yes,
Brandon
Jones
Road.
Park, we just
Next
found
Thursday.
out.
Okay, the 29th in Joe's Park?
Jones
Jones
Park,
Park?
you want us to send her a,
Please, an email, that way it don't slip through me, but I'm certain I won't forget, I'll be telling her here in a little while.
It was amazing, the difference. You could tell that you all have been out there.
Right, we can't get rid of all of them, and the variables, there's numerous variables that come about with this. From the, you know, the wet weather to the flooding of rice, and the winds and so on, but you can definitely reduce them to a point that's a little more enjoyable. And it's different at times, of course, so. But the more information we're given from the constituents and so on, it does help us a lot.
I know you got the ballparks on your
Yes, sir.
agenda, and that activity's really going full blast out there.
Right, we got tournaments going everywhere. Every contract that we got ball tournaments going right now.